Hello and welcome to this week's edition of TCS Student News. I'm your host Caleb Rohe, here with
Donavin Hooper. Let's get right into the news.
A soldier from North Korea recently defected to South Korea after making a mad dash across the DMZ, or the demilitarized zone in Korea. He is currently only being identified by his surname, Oh. He's a 24-year-old member of North Korea's military. He was found with multiple bullet wounds that came from his fellow North Korean soldiers. Doctors also found that he was infested with parasites, which must speak to the horrible conditions members of the North Korean military are in. The story of Oh's rescue from the North Koreans was being broadcast through loudspeakers at the DMZ, being used as anti-North propaganda. Not much has been revealed to the public about why Oh decided to leave his country, but hopefully we will receive more information in the coming days, and hopefully we can get some insight on the corrupt North Korean regime.
Recently, there has been a global push for doctors and patients to use antibiotics with better judgment and sense. This is largely because overusing them is contributing to growing resistance of the diseases to the medicine. This means that some infections that were previously treatable no longer respond well to antibiotic medications. Now, a new study in mice suggests that antibiotics may come with another potential health risk. They could be interfering with the microbiome, which is a community of bacteria that live in the gut and elsewhere. These changes could be passed down through generations and may cause disease. There was also another study on mice where researchers looked at the group of mice that were engineered to be at a higher risk for developing inflammatory bowel disease. The researchers followed the offspring of the mice for 5 months and discovered that the pups with a microbiome affected by antibiotics was substantially worse bowel disease than the mice that inherited a normal microbiome.
So, this has been a major talking point for the last week. The FCC wants to roll back their ruling on net neutrality. Net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers can't limit access to the internet for their customers. If this gets rolled back, internet service providers could charge more for their services, block you from going on certain sites or pages if they are run or sponsored by a rival company, slow your search speed to a crawl if you aren't on an approved page, or can even edit the news that you may see on a given day on the internet. This could lead to companies who have a political bias using their internet service to push some sort of political agenda forward. This is another case of the Trump administration trying to get rid of something that the previous president's administration did during his term. But instead of repealing and replacing the ruling on net neutrality, the leader of the FCC is planning on scrapping it altogether. One way we can stop this from happening is by getting in touch with your local congresspeople and telling them that you are for net neutrality. The only people that getting rid of net neutrality will benefit are the internet service providers. The next 2 to 3 years will be crucial in the case of net neutrality. I really hope our government will do the right thing on this one.
2016 was the last time there was a serious Ebola outbreak in the world. Around $6 million was raised since then, and the money was supposed to go towards combating the disease that was rapidly spreading throughout African countries, the main ones being Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The Ebola virus claimed lives over 11,000 individuals in just these 3 countries. Sadly, most, if not all, the $6 billion was stolen and wasted by corrupt employees at the organization and other culprits. The Red Cross representatives were disheartened by the findings of this investigation and now plan to take necessary steps towards battling fraud within the organization. That's just awful, don't you think, Caleb?
I think it's terrible when corrupt members of these kind of organizations steal money from people who need it. It's just plain wrong. Alright, well, let's move on to some news that happened at the school over the past week. And let me tell you, there's a whole lot. The last Friday before we took off for Thanksgiving break, we had an awesome visitor come and talk with us as part of our Conversation With series. Her name is Jeni Stepanek. Miss Jeni told us about her son, Maddie, who is an amazing writer and poet at a very young age. Maddie authored multiple books in his short life, which we now have a few of at the school. Miss Jeni sadly lost her son Maddie, as well as her other children, to a muscular disease that they were all born with. But she still keeps pushing through. To me, that's the definition of strength.
It was so great to meet Miss Jeni and hear how she overcame the struggles and hardship in her life. We really appreciate the inspirational messages we received from her and her stories about Maddie. Thank you, Miss Jeni, and please come back again soon.
We also went bowling on that same Friday after school. A couple of students, Mr. Tom and Mr. Dave, showed off their bowling skills at the AMF lanes. We had an amazing time there, and we are very grateful to the social committee at the school for planning such a fun event for us.
As a sort of start to Thanksgiving, the wonderful Miss Peg prepared a Thanksgiving feast for the class as a school lunch. We had turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and many other staple Thanksgiving sides and desserts. The meal was delicious and we really enjoyed it. Thank you, Miss Peg. Now, we've got 2 birthday shout-outs. Our first one goes to one of our fellow students, Carson Stewart, who turned 17 on Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed your day.
Also on our birthday list is Justin Schweitzer, an ex-student and graduate of the school. Justin has also just recently accomplished the feat of becoming the branch manager of the Orleans Street Enoch Pratt Library. Happy birthday, Justin, and congratulations on your new managerial position.
All of us at TCS would like to thank the Circle of Love for supporting us with all the baskets, cards, and care you brought into the school. We really appreciate everything you've done for us.
This marks the end of TCS News for this week. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Donavin. Thanks for watching and see you next week.